أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Welcome everyone. In this explainer, we're drawing from some really beautiful material compiled by Mir Ali Shah for the Living the Wisdom of the Qur'an podcast. And we're going to dive into one of the deepest spiritual and honestly psychological challenges we can face, that terrifying ability of the human heart to start seeing ugliness as something beautiful.
I mean, you've seen this, right? It's baffling, and it can be absolutely heartbreaking to watch. How on earth does that happen? How can someone become so convinced of their own righteousness, even when their actions are, well, clearly causing harm? The Quran actually gives us a deep and startlingly relevant diagnosis.
So let's start right there, with the anatomy of self-deception. Surah Fāṭir paints this picture of a frightening state, a kind of moral inversion where evil can literally start to look beautiful.
Wow, this verse is just incredibly direct. It describes this state where wrongdoing gets decorated, it gets polished up and presented to the self as something virtuous. But then, just as powerfully, it gives this incredible counsel to those of us who have to witness it. Do not let yourself perish in sorrow over them. It's a reminder that there's a divine wisdom at play that's so much bigger than what we can immediately see.
Now, you can look at this in a couple of ways. On one level, the classical understanding is that this state of misguidance is a consequence. It's what happens when you repeatedly turn away from the truth. But the Sufi masters, they go even deeper. They diagnose it as a condition of the ego. See, when our own personal story becomes more important than what's actually true, the heart gets veiled. And as the great sage Najm al-Din Kubra put it, that veil itself becomes a mirror, and all we can see anymore is just our own reflection.
And you know what's wild? This ancient wisdom just resonates so powerfully today. Modern psychology has a name for this exact thing: cognitive bias. It's how we rationalize our actions. We create these elaborate justifications until unethical behavior actually starts to feel virtuous. Neuroscience even shows us that this kind of chronic self-justification literally strengthens the ego's defenses in our brain, making it physically harder to change our minds.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis of a heart that's become hardened. But the Qur'an never ever leaves us in a state of despair. It immediately shows us the way out, the path to healing, through this incredibly powerful metaphor drawn straight from the natural world.
This is a message of just profound hope. Think about it. Just as rain can revive a totally barren, lifeless landscape, the human spirit can also be brought back to life. Resurrection isn't just some far-off event. It's a pattern, a process that we can see every single day in the world around us, and most importantly, inside of ourselves.
And the Sufi masters saw in this verse a really clear, four-step process for the spiritual revival. It all begins right here, with what they called the winds of remembrance. Now don't think of a physical wind, think of the breaths of vikr, that conscious, intentional act of remembering God. This practice is the very first thing that starts to stir the stillness in a heart that's become hardened and spiritually dry.
And this remembrance, it's not just about chanting empty words. When you do it with presence, with your whole heart, it fundamentally changes your inner state. It creates this new sense of receptivity, an openness to the divine. And metaphorically, these are the clouds of mercy that start to gather in the sky of your awareness, getting everything ready for grace to finally descend.
And this right here, this is the crucial moment. Divine grace, like rain, falls. It's always there, it's always available. But its life-giving power is only really felt when it lands on a heart that's been prepared, that spiritual soil that's been softened up by the winds of remembrance and shaded by the clouds of mercy.
And what happens then? Just like that, life and sincerity and a new awareness, it all springs forth where there was once only dryness and denial. I mean, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's a tangible process of spiritual resurrection. It's a promise of renewal that's available to every single one of us.
So when this inner revival starts to happen, it naturally leads to this huge shift in our priorities. It completely changes what we value and where we go looking for our sense of worth. And this next part tackles one of the most powerful human drives there is, the search for honor.
Now get this. This statement is so radical and so liberating. If you want honor, if you're looking for significance and real worth, stop. Just stop looking for it in the approval of other people. The verse completely redirects us. All honor, every single last bit of it, belongs to the divine source alone.
And this distinction is absolutely critical. Think of it like two totally different paths. As masters like Imam al-Ghazālī taught us, seeking honor from creation, from people, from our status, from our wealth,
That's a recipe for anxiety and sooner or later humiliation. But seeking it from the Creator by aligning ourselves with the divine, well, that's what truly brings peace and lifts the soul.
So how do we actually access this true honor? The verse literally gives us the formula, and it's a partnership. First, our good words, our intentions, our prayers, our deepest aspirations. They ascend to God through sincerity. But it's our righteous deeds, our actual actions in the world, that give those words weight and lift them up through truthfulness. You see? You need both, intention and action, working together.
So what's the foundation for this whole journey, from seeing our own self-deception all the way to seeking true honor? Well, the final verse we're looking at anchors us in a simple, inescapable, and incredibly powerful truth.
This verse just brings us right back down to earth, literally. It's a reminder of our incredibly humble biological beginnings. We come from dust, from a tiny drop of fluid. And it reminds us that every single moment of our life, from the very beginning to the final breath, is known and recorded. Nothing is an accident. It's all encompassed by divine knowledge.
And this remembrance is what cultivates that essential quality of humility. Now, on the spiritual path, humility is not weakness. Not at all. As sages like Rumi helped us understand, it's the ultimate reality check. It's a source of immense strength that just crushes the arrogance of the ego and opens the heart to a state of total awe. And for those of you who love to go a little deeper, there's this other fascinating layer to these words. In the mystical tradition of Abjad, the letters of key Arabic words have numerical values that hint at these beautiful symbolic meanings. Now, this doesn't replace the plain meaning, but it enriches it. It's like a little whisper, suggesting how the material world can trap us, how true honor harmonizes us, and how our very origin in a drop points to the completion of our life's entire journey.
So there you have it. We've traced this incredible path from the problem of self-deception to the solution of revival, and all the way to the foundation of humility. Now let's try to bring all this wisdom into a personal space, with a final reflection for the seeker in all of us.
I want you to think of these not as commands, but as gentle invitations for your own heart. It's a call to self-awareness. So when something that maybe once felt wrong starts to feel right, just pause. When your heart feels dry and barren, let the remembrance of God be that gentle breeze that invites the clouds of mercy. Try to shift your focus from what other people think, from that external validation, to your own inner alignment. And please, never forget where you came from, because in that memory is the medicine for pride.
And we can bring this all together in a personal prayer, a munajat. O Allah, please, remove the varnish of illusion from my deeds. Teach me that all honor is yours, and that my true worth is found only in kneeling before you. From dust to a drop to a breath, I return to you. Ameen.
And so, I'll leave you with this question to carry with you. If we can't force others to see the truth, and if, as the Quran teaches, no soul bears another's burden, then what is our ultimate, non-negotiable responsibility to our own soul and to the truth that is constantly calling out to it?